My opponent agreed to both framework points. She has to be Taiji specific, and she has to win the UN jurisdictional clash to access her world. That is the framework. So, let's go to the jurisdiction clash between her contention 3 and my contention 1. She reasserts in her rebuttal, the UN can do a resolution because of the Convention of the Law of the Sea. Respectfully, she is wrong. She ignores that Article 65, her sole evidence, only applies within exclusive economic zones, defined by Article 55 as areas beyond territorial seas. Articles 2 and 3 tell you that territorial seas extend out 12 miles beyond the nation's shoreline, and that the state retains sovereign jurisdiction in this area. UN Charter, Article 2, Sub 7, tells you that the UN is not authorized to act on matters solely within the domestic jurisdictions. That's where the Taiji hunt takes place. Article 65 does not apply. I relinked both documents, read them. She says you cannot pick which laws to follow, and that's right. So why is she ignoring the UN Charter, basically the Constitution of the UN, and altering the jurisdiction of the Convention with her case? Remember the framework. If she doesn't win this point, she can't access her world, because this is the only argument she makes for the UN authority. Vote op right now on jurisdiction. On to animal rights. She says I'm arguing a non-existent resolution, but I have to because of the extra topical claims she makes. She does it again in her rebuttal at 235, stating that all living things should be treated equally. No, they shouldn't. I tell you my third contention that the UN has no documents affirming or recognizing animal rights. The only way my opponent can say they have rights is if she's the one giving them. That's the violation, and that's the link to my responses. She ignores the Duckler evidence saying that when the rights movement misapprehends police power, in this case the UN, its methods immediately outstrip and disservice the goals. She also ignores evidence showing impacts to health due to loss of animal testing for new drugs, lifespan due to poorer diet, and economy that will be affected with complete equality of all living things. Even if you think she accesses her world, these are by far the biggest impacts in the round, and she concedes them. The harms are immediate, while she, twice in her constructive, said it would take time for any benefits. You can vote op here, because I outweigh everything that possibly reaches her world. Her only answer to my cards on dolphin intelligence being a myth was that my sources are editorial bias, but that could apply to her evidence as well. And I think a zoologist with the Dolphin Communication Project stating we've been misled by flawed research for decades is pretty solid. She mentions the size of dolphins' brains, but this is a poor measure of intelligence. Paul Manger, University of Witwatersrand, studied dolphins specifically, calling them dumber than goldfish. The extra brain size comes from fatty cells that insulate and serve no cognitive function. Finally, mercury. She ignores a study of Taiji that found zero ill effects in the population. She's trying to take credit for solving a problem that doesn't exist. Also, she concedes numbers showing that Taiji accounts for only 4.5% of Japanese dolphin kills. And other nations are also killing dolphins for meat. She can't stop consumption. Props World asks you to vote for a resolution violating UN jurisdiction to protect dolphins because of intelligence they don't have by giving you rights to all animals extratopically, which after a while somehow will protect the people from Taiji from mercury a study showed isn't causing problems. I give you health, life expectancy, and economic impacts stemming from the resolution. I win on immediacy, magnitude, and jurisdiction. The framework demands an opposition ballot.